Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I hope your day is going well. Today we're going to make a masculine card. It could be for a lady as well, but I wanted to gear something towards a man. So we're going to use Oceanfront as our main stamp set, and we are going to be using Happy Birthday out of Artistically Inked. Also, before we get started, few housekeeping notes. All the dimensions and all the product I use are listed below. There's a link to my store. If you'd like to purchase any of these Stampin' Up products, please go there. There is a link to our Facebook group. We'd love to have you join that. There's my email address if you have any questions. And finally, remember to like, share, and subscribe and help me grow in YouTube world. So let me show you what we're making. But first, I wanted to show you something. This is rather unusual for me. When I do stamping, I tend to use one stamp here, one stamp here. You don't always use everything. I have every single stamp out of this set. They're mounted on blocks sitting in front of me. But yeah, it was like I used everything, which was really unusual. So let me show you what we're going to be making. Get these set off to my side here. And this, we have a little envelope. And this is the card we're making. It's a very simple stamped card, but I think it's very pretty. It's not blinged out or anything else. This is for a man. So, and you're probably looking at some of these colors going, putting browns and blues together, but I think it really does work very nicely. So let's go over the products we need. We need an envelope, of course, that has something on it. We need, this is Misty Moonlight. It's 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. I have 2 pieces of Pecan Pie, 4 by 5 1/4. Like I said, all the dimensions will be listed below. And 2 pieces of white that are 3 3/4 by 5. So there's the pieces for the card. So to get started, we are going to grab, I'm going to do the front first, I think, and then we'll do the inside, and we'll get this one at some point as well. And I do need my stamping mat that, just one moment, has gotten buried because these are all photopolymer. So we're going to get started, and first we're going to use Balmy Blue for our sky. Now, when you look at these, I'm bringing the case back in. This is our sky, and these are distinctive stamps. They don't say they're distinctive, but they really are. So this part here, so remember the one with the little piece that sticks out this way right here is the bottom, and it's very straight. And we're going to stamp that one first in the Balmy Blue, and then we're going to do the C and this one. So get this all inked up well. And I'm going to go to the top about, I don't know, it's a little less than a 1/2 inch from the top and into the center. And give a nice press. And I am going to try to zoom in a little bit on this one. Let's see where that goes. Next is the water. So the water has a flat edge as well, and it lines up right. I've got to scoot this in a little bit so I can see where it goes. And it goes right here. And if you overlap the other piece a little bit, it's fine. Actually, I think it looks nice. So we are going to use Pool Party. Make sure that's good and covered. Try to keep my head out of the camera too. Give that a nice press. There's our water. You can see the pieces in there. Okay. Next we're going to use is Crumb Cake. I'm going to move these over here out of my way. And this is this piece. Now we're going to actually stamp this one twice. And if you see how it goes in an angle, just like that. Now, you're thinking I'm opening this weird. If other people have seen my shows before, My crumb cake went through the labeling machine upside down. So bottom of my crumb cake is this one. It's just opposite. There's nothing wrong with it. It went through the labeling machine wrong. And we're going to line this one up right like that. Now I'm going to turn this one this way and put one more. About like that. Okay, we're not done with the crumb cake yet. Now there is two like boulders or rocks in this. So I'm going to use the big one first, and I'm still using crumb cake. And this big open area here, I'm going to put in my big boulder. You can see the distinction in there. You can see how they work. And this is two little boulders. And we're going to set them down here in this corner, about like that. Getting it to look more like the beach. Now there is some sand right here, like there. And I'm using crumb cake. And I'm going to stamp off and stamp on, and I'm just going to put a little bit here and there, turning, just adding a little texture down here at the bottom. Just like that. That looks pretty good. A little bit too much white right there in the center. We'll add a little more. Just to add some sand texture in the bottom. So then I came in here. I got something right there. Oh well, it'll be fine. It's a little sea creature out swimming. Then I'm going to bring in Early Espresso. And I'm going to use this big long sprig of seagrass. And we're going to put him here about like that. And then I'm going to grab this guy here, and we're doing him in Misty Moonlight. And we'll put a couple of them as I put my fingers into the ink. Don't do that. We'll have one coming up off the rocks. And I'm going to put one just about like that down at the bottom. I'm going to leave that open for just a second because we're not done with that one. This is Pretty Peacock. And there's some little seagrass. And I'm going to put one about here. One there. And I'm going to put one on this side over here. You could add as much seagrass as you wanted, and I really got this one off a little bit, but I'm not going to worry. He's fine. So there's the front of our card. Almost. Actually, I want one more piece of seagrass. I want to put one over here. It's a little different than the first one. They never turn out the same. So then I looked at this and I said, you know, I like it, but it's missing something. It needs birds. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And so I started looking through my stamps for some birds. And then I went to the catalog to see if I could find any birds. I wrote these down. I found 3 stamp sets in the catalog, our annual catalog, On the Ocean, Beside Me, and Scenic Wonder, that all had birds. I don't have any of those. So I went to my stamp collection and grabbed 2 retired sets, Sailing Home and High Tide. And I'm sure many of you have one or both of these. But there's birds in both of them. And there's many other sets that have birds. So I went to find birds. So I went and grabbed the ones out of Sailing Way. And I'm using black. And I wanted them not too far up from the water. About like that. And that is our birds. The birds, I thought, really added a lot to the front of this. So that's the front of our card. Now we need to do the envelope. Where'd it go? So I decided on the front of my envelope I was going to use the Misty Moonlight and do that nice sprig of wheatgrass on the front. And it was just floating around in there. So I brought in a little more crumb cake. And stamped a little bit of grass there. Now on the inside of the card, we need to do our happy birthday, and I'm going to use Misty Moonlight again. Move my crumb cake for a second. Grab my Misty Moonlight. And you could use any happy birthday. This doesn't have to be a birthday card. To be honest, you could use this for lots of occasions. I'm going to stamp my happy birthday right at the top. Just like that. This actually could even be used as a sympathy card. So I don't know why I closed that. I'm going to need it. So then I took the two rocks and I stamped them right about here in crumb cake. I grabbed my sand again, or my pebbles, whatever you want to call it, and did some across the bottom here. A little more like that. And then I went back to my Misty Moonlight. I know I'm opening and closing a lot, but I have a fan going above me and I don't want drying out here. And I'm going to actually stamp these right on top of my rock. Just like that. And then I'm going to grab Peacock one more time for a little one. I'm going to stamp one little clamp of there and one right here. Like I said, I'm keeping this pretty simple. It's just some easy stamping. And now we're going to assemble the card. There's our card base. Give this a burnish, so I don't think I did it. And my two pieces of Pecan Pie. And we'll go ahead and mount this one on here. Like I said, this is a pretty easy card, but I liked it. I thought it was very nice. And yes, I do have something right in the middle of my pool party, and I'm not going to worry about it. Oh, sorry, I didn't zoom the camera back. There you go. There is a little dot right there in my pool party. I don't know if it's in the paper or what it is. And if someone says anything, I'm going to tell them that's the back of a whale, and they just can't see the rest of the whale. That's my story. I'm going to stick to it. So we're going to put the happy birthday on the inside. I know I didn't think about putting these colors together. And I had actually picked out several blues to put together. And my sister came out and was talking to me, and she goes, she gave me a funny look. I says, "What's wrong?" I says, "You don't like it?" And she goes, "No." She says, "It's missing something." She says, "You have too much blue." And she seen the pecan pie sitting there. So I had it out for something else. And she goes, "Print that one and see what it looks like." So we did, and I liked it better. I think it brings more focus into the plants and stuff at the bottom, as well as not distracting from the rest of the card. So anyhow, that's how we ended up with pecan pie. So I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. Like I said, I'm not adding bling to this. You could if you wanted to. I did add bows. Bows don't belong on the beach. And so we're keeping it simple. Like I said, a nice, that's all lined up. Get a nice masking card. And that's it. Like I said, it was very simple little card, but we all need cards for men, and I know we just don't make enough of them. And so I thought I would make one today. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you on Friday. And I have not figured out what I'm making for Friday yet. So we'll find out together. Talk to you later. Have a nice day. Goodbye.